guys, Lee Martin here. The College Football Conference Championships are coming your way this weekend, and I've got opinions on 5 of the best bets on Saturday's slate of games. So, without further ado, let's improve upon our 3-2 against the spread record from last week and make some money. But before anything, like always, please give us a like and subscribe to our channel for more premium picks and up-to-date betting info. Let's get cracking in our first of 5 with a noontime game between Baylor and Oklahoma for Big 12 supremacy. Both teams checked in with identical 11-1 records and will play this one at home of the Dallas Cowboys at the AT&T Stadium. This is a rematch from their November 16th showdown, when the Sooners came away with a huge 34-31 road victory after being down 31-10 to begin the second half. Although the venue has shifted to a neutral site, we see the Bears are still getting plenty of points, with the odd makers dealing Oklahoma as 9 to 9.5 point favorites, depending on where you shop. It's not hard to see that I love the Bears in this spot, especially after coming off of a 61-6 destruction of Kansas last week as 14 road chalk. Baylor has won and covered their last 4 games, and their defense will be the key to keeping this one within the margins. The Bears allowed a season-high 34 points to Oklahoma in the first meeting, but have held their last 2 opponents to an average of 8 points. Baylor has enough offensive firepower to keep pace with the Sooners and potentially put the upset on Saturday. Bet Baylor plus 9.5 at 5 times. Let's move on over to the AAC, where we see a rematch between Cincinnati and Memphis for our second pick of the week. The Tigers will have home field advantage as they did last week when these teams met, and will be laying double digits once again. But instead of 14, the oddsmakers have dropped this line down to even 10 for Saturday's conference championship. Ironically, we cashed last week with the Bearcats plus the big number over Cincinnati as one of our Fierce 5 Friday selections in their 34-24 loss. But now, we're reversing course and taking the home team. I suspect Memphis will be much more aware of Cincinnati's rushing attack, led by Michael Warren, who chewed up 122 yards last week, while Tigers quarterback Brady White will be more effective than he was in that game when he connected on a season low of 57% of his passes. The Tigers' rushing game will again be on point, as they were when they gashed the Bearcats for 199 yards. And if we couple that with a more accurate effort from White, this will be a 2-touchdown win by Memphis. Bet the Tigers minus 10 at BetOnline. Okay, let's go to Saturday's marquee matchup for our third pick of the week. The SEC showdown between the 11-1 Georgia Bulldogs as they take on the undefeated LSU Tigers. This game will be played on neutral turf at Mercedes-Benz Stadium, the home of the Atlanta Falcons, where we see LSU being installed as 7-point favorites. Georgia has the edge defensively, allowing just 10.4 points per game, trailing only Clemson as college football's top D in the nation. However, LSU has the offensive firepower to blow away any opponent, averaging 48.7 points per game, second only to Ohio State. But the key to victory, and to cover for that matter, is LSU's ferocious passing attack. Joe Burrow has been a man on fire this season, with 44 touchdowns and over 4,300 yards through the air. Georgia will try to slow the tempo with their running attack, but that won't do them much good when the Tigers begin to pull away. The Bulldogs have to go in the air, and that's a track meet they can't win. Look for a huge victory by the Tigers to cement their status as one of the 4 college football playoff participants. Bet LSU minus 7 at Bookmaker. The Big Ten Conference Championship will be decided when Wisconsin takes on the top team in the nation, Ohio State, in our 4th pick of the week. This game will take place at Lucas Oil Stadium, home of the Indianapolis Colts, and the oddsmakers are making you pay if you want to back the Buckeyes. But we'll take their generosity and use it to our advantage, as we can get Wisconsin at plus 17.5 at Bovada, which is just too many points to give a nationally ranked team with revenge on their mind, after getting blown out in Columbus 38-7 earlier this season. The Badgers had their worst offensive and defensive performance of the season in that game, but I expect things to be much closer this time around. Both teams come equipped with top 10 defenses, and we also know that the Buckeyes own one of the most prolific scoring attacks in the nation, averaging nearly 50 points per game. That said, Wisconsin's 35.8 points per game isn't chopped liver either, and their pass defense did limit Buckeyes quarterback Justin Fields to just 167 yards passing in their previous meeting. but it was Ohio State's ground game that ate up 264 yards, led by a magnificent performance by J.K. Dobbins, who had a pair of rushing touchdowns and 164 yards on the ground. Ohio State wins this one, but the Badgers get the cover. Bet Wisconsin plus 17.5 at Bovada. In our fifth and final selection, we turn to the ACC championship between Virginia and Clemson. In this neutral site matchup, the teams will play at Bank of America Stadium, home of the Carolina Panthers. The line on this game makes you look twice, as the odds makers are offering the Tigers as 28-point favorites over the second best team in the conference. I see this line drifting to as high as 29 at some of the offshore books, but we will have to eat this 4-touchdown deficit and bet Clemson here. I'm not one to lay ridiculous numbers, and you could argue that this spread qualifies, but the Tigers' defense is the best in the nation, allowing only 10.1 points per game, and their pass defense is suffocating, holding opponents to just 126.5 yards per game. Virginia just beat their arch rival Virginia Tech and snapped a 15-game losing streak in that series. It wouldn't surprise me one bit if Virginia is due for a letdown here, and I don't see much hope for the Cavaliers to cover this number, unless their running game can somehow keep the chains moving and the clock ticking. This one has blowout written all over it, and that's why I'm betting Clemson minus 28 at BetOnline. Well, that's all I've got for you on Saturday, and if you want to read about these picks, then head on over to SBR Picks page, where you can not only read my write-ups, but get opinions from all our expert cappers here at SBR. For more free NFL picks, head on over to SBR by clicking the link in the description. Make sure to give us a like and subscribe to our channel for more premium picks and up-to-date betting info. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. I'm Lee Martin, and may all your wagers be winners.